Welcome to All Saints Catholic School e-learning. The big idea we'll be looking at today is correspondence. By the end of this video, you'll have an understanding of what correspondence means and why it is an important principle in criminal law. What is correspondence? Firstly, let's explore the etymology of our big idea and develop our understanding of what this really means. Correspondence means the condition of agreeing or conforming. Therefore, the principle of correspondence in criminal law is the idea that the actus reus should agree with the mens rea. In almost every criminal offence, there are both actus reus and mens rea elements. For an offence to conform with the principle of correspondence, the actus reus elements should match the mens rea elements. The consequence of that is that the defendant will only ever be liable for the acts or omissions that they intended or they saw the risk of occurring. So why is the principle of correspondence important in criminal law? It's all to do with the idea that you shouldn't be liable for your actions unless they are accompanied by a guilty mind. For all serious criminal offences, both actus reus and mens rea is required. Otherwise, people could be liable for actions and consequences that were simply accidents. And to differentiate accidents from criminal behaviour, we require either a degree of intention or recklessness. And requiring that mens rea is a way of identifying individuals who were at fault when they acted, rather than those individuals who are simply unfortunate. If you don't have correspondence between the actus reus and mens rea, that may mean that the defendant becomes liable for consequences that go beyond what they intended to achieve or the risks that they foresaw and chose to run. And so, in effect, the consequences become akin to accidents, unforeseen consequences from their behaviour. If we take an example, with the offence of murder, you know that the mens rea is both the intention to kill, which matches the actus reus of causing the death, but also you can be liable for murder if you intended serious harm and caused the death of the victim. Now there you have an example of the actus reus and the mens rea not corresponding. The consequence of this is that people can be liable for murder who neither intended to kill nor saw the risk of death arising. Now, there are policy reasons for why this is so, but approaching it simply on the principle of correspondence, you can see that that is unfair on those defendants to label them murderers and to convict them of murder when the death wasn't something they wanted to achieve, nor something they saw as a likely risk of their behaviour. And this links quite nicely with another principle of criminal law that is relevant to correspondence, which is a principle of what's called fair labelling. The idea that when we convict people, the crimes we convict them of should be a fair description of the crime they committed. Because when you label someone a criminal, there is stigma that comes with that. And different labels carry different degrees of stigma, and it's important that people are labelled correctly so that the stigma that they attract is deserved. If you label someone a murderer, I think the common assumption amongst the general population is that not only that you killed someone, but that you intended to kill that person. And that would be a common and understandable misconception. And so the fact that the law of murder doesn't respect the principle of correspondence also means that you haven't got fair labelling, because someone who kills intentionally is a murderer, but so is the person who kills when they perhaps only intended to cause serious injury. And there's no distinction between those two labels. Is it really fair that the law doesn't differentiate between what is, I would argue, quite different levels of blameworthiness, even though the consequence was the same? Great work! You now have a secure understanding of what correspondence means and why it's important in criminal law. Now search for the Working It Out video to help you understand this big idea and how this links to your studies.